Hi, my name is Ashanti Scott, and today we're going to cover how to convert fractions into decimals. Now, in the past, we have covered how fractions and decimals work independently. However, now we're going to see how they coincide. So we have our fraction. We're going to go back over how fractions work. Fractions, we have a numerator and a denominator. In this case, our numerator is 1 and our denominator is 4. That makes this fraction 1/4. On our decimal side, we have our ones, where our whole number would be, our decimal point. Then we have tenths, hundredths, and thousands. Now, do take note, it does go further than this. However, for this example, we're going to stop at the thousandths place. Now, let's take our eyes back over here where we have our 1/4. We're going to put our 1 in the house and our 4 outside. Therefore, we're dividing 1 by 4. Now, does 1 go into 4? No. So what are we going to do? We're going to put our imaginary 0 there. This would be where our decimal point comes in. So now we have 10. Does 4 go into 10? Yes, it does. How many times? It goes into 10 twice. We're going to put our 2 up here. Now, 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to put our 8 down here. Now we have 10 minus 8. That brings another 2 down. Does 4 go into 2? No. So what are we going to do? Bring our invisible 0 down. Now we have 4 going into 20. Now, how many times does 4 go into 20? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 5 times. So we're going to put our 5 up here. So if you notice, we already discovered our decimal. 0.25 is the decimal for 1/4. Now, if you see in the middle, we have 1/4 colored in. You see, it's what breaks the middle line. That's because they do have a relationship. Because what is our decimal point over here? 0.25. So 25 hundredths. In this case, 25 hundredths is equal to 1/4. Now let's see how that works on the decimal side. We have 25 hundredths. So we're going to take 25 and divide it by 100. Or make a fraction, 25 hundredths. Now, what goes into 25 and 100? What's the common denominator, the common factor here? The common factor is going to be 25. 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. And where are we at? Full circle, we're back to our 1/4. Now, we are going to go to a close-up of the whiteboard with some other examples just to give you an idea of how this works. When we're working through this, make sure you remember numerator divided by denominator. That is how we get our fraction. You do not want to get it confused. It does seem easier to put the bigger number in the house. We're not doing that this time. We're putting the bigger number out the house, small number in the house. Top in, bottom out. For our fraction or for our decimals, remember whole number, decimal point, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Now, we are going to go over and do some other examples in our worksheet, and we will see you later. All right, so we look at our worksheet, we are going to see that our 1/4 was our number 1, so we'll go right into number 2. 1/2. Now, we just discussed that in order to turn a fraction into a decimal, we need to divide our numerator by our denominator. So we're going to go ahead and put our 1 in the house and our 2 outside. 2's knocking, but he can't get in because 2 can't go into 1. So what are we going to do? Our imaginary decimal point and our imaginary 0. So we have a 10. How many times does 2 go into 10? Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going to put our 5 at the top. And what is 2 times 5? Another 10. So subtract that, and we get 0. Now, for this example, we're going to carry our 0 up. That's not always necessary. And what do we have? 0.50. Now, how do we say this as a decimal? We have 5 tenths. So for our next example, Let's go ahead and wipe this off. Excuse me. We're gonna go into 3/4. Now, numerator needs to go into our denominator. We're gonna make our house again. We have a 3 inside and a 4 outside. 4 is knocking. Can he go into 3? No. So let's do this math. So we're gonna put our imaginary 0 and our imaginary decimal point. So 4 goes into 30 how many times? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. 7 times. So we're going to put our 7 at the top. We're going to do our 28. Subtract those. And what do we get? We get a 2. So what are we going to do? Can 4 go into 2? No, it cannot. So we're going to bring another imaginary 0. Go ahead and bring that down. 20. Now, what did we say about 4 and 20? It's a perfect number. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I'm going to put our 5 up at the top. 20 minus 20, 0. So that cancels out. We're going to bring up our decimal point. And what do we get? We get 0.75. And we're going to say that as 75 hundredths. All right. So let's go ahead and knock that one out as well. Let's go ahead and do our 5/8. So in the house, we're gonna have our nice number 5. Outside, number 8. 8's knocking, but can he get into 5? No. So let's go ahead and put our imaginary 0 and our imaginary decimal point. Now, how can we get 8 into 50? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So 6 times we get 8 into 50. 48 divided or subtracted. We're going to put a 2 down here. Now can 8 go into 2? No. Let's bring down our imaginary 2. Oh, our imaginary 0. 8 goes into 20. How many times? 8, 16, 24. We can't go that high. So we're going to go with 16 and bring our 2 up. Now we got a 4. Now 8 goes into 4. Nope. What are we going to do? Imaginary 0 all the way down. We have 40. Now let's look at our list again. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Another magic 5. So we're going to put our 5 up here. And 40 minus 40. We're going to cancel that out. And we're going to bring up our imaginary decimal point. 625 thousandths. So that's going to be our answer here. Now we are going to go into some more independent studies, but before we do that, I just want to go back over the basics. So we have our numerator and our denominator. In order to do that, we're going to have to put the numerator inside the house and the denominator outside knocking. Do not get these mixed up. It's easier to put 1 into 4. I know, but that's not the answer we're looking for here. So we're going to have to do this process. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Don't hesitate to ask for help, and we will go over it. And that is how you convert fractions into decimals. And that is a wrap.